fantasy football corner from our fantasy football expert, Mr. Tyler, and he's got a surprise for us this week. Tyler, why don't you tell us what it is while I pull up the slideshow?
That we're not going to draft running backs in our league. We're just going to sprinkle a handful of them to every team at the end, and it's just luck of the draw. That's the surprise.
There you go.
Not quite, but I figured that, it's the year 2023, 2022 in this all season in the fantasy football corner. I was just given, the basics of the top 5 breakout players. So I think it's time that we spice it up and talk more about draft strategies, because I think that's a lot of the question marks that need to be answered. So what I did was I hopped on ESPN and I went through all of our draft orders. So, Jacob's at the 107, Chet's at the 102, I'm at the 103, and Wade, of course, won the Toilet Bowl championship, so he's at the 101. So this is for an 8-league team. I know that a lot of people don't play an 8-league team, but I feel like every YouTube video, it's either a 10-team or a 12-team. So I want to give the people some love who play the 8-team league. So here we go. All right, I know that Jacob's not here, but whenever he gets back from playing one of the greatest courses in the world at TPC Sawgrass, he's going to be able to watch this video. So what I did was I did through a mock draft. It's an 8-team PPR. And the first round pick, he's been mentioning that he's been wanting to go Travis Kelce, tight end.
Not if I take him at number 2.
Oh, shut up now. We already talked about this last week. But this spot, I either thought about going Bijan Robinson, the running back of the Falcons, but he told me that he's not really too high on that. So I was going in the mindset of who Jacob would pick, and it just feels that he likes to take a little bit of risk here. It's not really much of a risk, especially the 7th overall pick. Getting Travis Kelce, like I mentioned last week, he's just a fantasy cheat code, and especially in PPR, he's going to get all the target shares and he's going to get all the touchdowns. So we're going to start off with a tight end build. It's usually what I don't really like to do. I would like to go either a wide receiver or a running back to start, but let's go ahead and see what the rest of the build looks like. So round number 2, I went with Tyreek Hill. He
he's already set to win the championship.
Yeah. Well, I had some idiots in the mock draft that didn't even pick Tyreek Hill. They went a lot of running backs, which I also don't really want to do this year either. But Tyreek Hill, wide receiver of the Dolphins, I was really hyped this man up. I think that your top 3 receivers are Chase, Jefferson, and Kupp. I think that Tyreek Hill, I think with a healthy Tua or not, I think that he has that advantage with his elite level speed. So I think that getting one of the best tight ends and getting one of the best wide receivers is what you want. So let's go on now to round number 3. We got to get some running backs at some point. We can't just go no RBs this whole entire draft. So I went with Tony Pollard, the running back of the Cowboys. I'm very high on Tony Pollard heading into the season. He's one of those guys that's not, either having that quote-unquote back pain or not getting paid this offseason. So I think he's going to be one of the safer running backs to pick, and get him in round 3 is an absolute steal. I think he's going to finish in the top 10 as a fantasy running back. And going at round number 4 is Breece Hall. Jacob has talked very highly on him, so I figured why not give him to me? I know that he's coming off of a torn ACL, but this Jets offense is ready to explode. I know that Aaron Rodgers, we talked about him last week. I know that he's not the Aaron Rodgers that we know, but he's definitely better than what Zach Wilson and Mike White provided for them. So I think that having Breece Hall, I think that in the PPR league, you got to have the mindset of not only do you want a running back that can catch, to run the ball, but you also want some pass catching running backs. So Breece Hall is definitely one of them. So finishing out Jacob's draft, Deebo Samuel, the wide receiver out of San Francisco, had a little bit of a drop-off in the 2022 season, but dealt with some injuries. I'm hearing some good things about Brock Purdy. It sounded like he's going to be ready to go for this season. So that's definitely buying more of the 49ers offense. So Deebo Samuel can do it all. So this is Jacob's first 5 picks from the 107.
Let's discuss this.
Yeah,
what
go ahead
morons were drafting in the mock draft that you were doing? That he's at the 7th pick. He's got Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill.
Well, it's a snake draft, so Tyreek Hill going.
You're pretty much at the turn.
10th overall is not unreal.
Yeah,
the team is stacked.
it
If I
is.
was Jacob, I'd be thrilled with it.
That's why I did.
Well, what you see here is you should wait on running backs, stack up on
Exactly.
pass catchers. I mean,
Exactly.
You look at Tyreek Hill's face. He doesn't look thrilled that he's on Jacob's team, but everybody else looks pretty happy. So
I try to fit all of them in. Okay, I can only get their headshots.
he does not look happy.
All right.
Travis Kelce looks happy, but he's swinging at teammates at practice. So
I
we'll
saw
see what
that.
happens.
Already starting to be the baddie of the Chiefs.
you know, I want to take Travis Kelce at the number 1 overall so bad just to get the positional hierarchy over you guys.
You should,
but it's going to be the year he collapses
risky.
if I do it.
They don't have wide receiver 1 this year. He basically is playing wide receiver, and he's Patrick Mahomes' best friend. They're butt buddies basically on the field.
Advantage.
So I'd take him at number 1, Wade. If I'm you,
The problem is I'm going to be looking at Deebo Samuel at pick number 20 as my wide receiver 1.
Yeah, I wouldn't. That's the only thing I would like. I really was on the fence of having Deebo Samuel as your wide receiver 2. That would be the only question mark about this. But other than this would be a phenomenal team.
Yeah, I'd take Deebo. He puts
that
up numbers no matter if he's healthy. All right, let's get to your team. Let's get to your team here, Tyler.
All right, let's get to mine. Pick number 3. I have no idea who I'm going to pick, but for this one, I decided to go running back because y'all two boys are probably going to go with the top 2 wide receivers. I'm on the fence either between one of the top running backs or either Cooper Kupp. I still want to wait a couple of weeks. If Matthew Stafford's ready to go, then I'm probably going to go with my guy, Cooper Kupp. Last time I had him, he won me the league. But going to go with Christian McCaffrey, the running back of the 49ers. Injuries, it happens to the running backs. Not even a concern for me anymore. McCaffrey, I think that the only concern is that Elijah Mitchell, if he's healthy and ready to go, I think that Kyle Shanahan loves to run split running backs for some odd reason. He does it every year. But I think that Christian McCaffrey, he is like an elite fantasy tight end, especially at the PPR. So in this little experiment, I just started off with CMC. Let's go on to round number 2. This is a guy that I love to draft in mock drafts is Amon-Ra St. Brown. I am all in on the Lions. Like I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, I think that the Lions and the Vikings will be the top 2 teams, and this Lions offense is about to explode. I think that you saw the potential of Amon-Ra last season. I think that Amon-Ra is going to be an elite level. And he's definitely going early around, where Garrett Wilson, all those wide receivers are going. So I think that Amon-Ra is definitely a steal in round number 2. Going to round number 3, I went with A.J. Brown, the wide receiver of the Philadelphia Eagles. It's your pick and choose of Eagles receivers. Either you get Smitty or you go with A.J. Brown. But it just feels like A.J. Brown is going to give you that consistent, targets every week for the Philadelphia Eagles. And then round number 4 is a guy who I've been drafting a lot also is Ramondre Stevenson, of the running back of the Patriots. Now this could change. Say Leonard Fournette or Ezekiel Elliott goes to the Patriots, then I'm going to back off and probably not take Ramondre Stevenson. So definitely keep an eye on that if you're trying to go for Ramondre Stevenson. In round 5, Chris Olave. This guy is going to be an absolute ball hawk for the Saints. I think that Michael Thomas is now going to be the wide receiver 2. I think Olave is going to be Derek Carr's favorite target. I think that you saw his potential of what he could do in his rookie season. And, whenever Andy Dalton and Jameis Winston was the quarterback, I think that with Derek Carr in that system, his second year in the offense with Pete Carmichael, Chris Olave is about to explode in fantasy. So thoughts on the second team?
Really good value here, Tyler.
Yeah,
with Olave and A.J. Brown.
I like the A.J. Brown pick over Devontae Smith because I feel like Smith is more of a streaky kind of game guy. He's that deep ball guy. Now he might catch one a game, and that gives you a bunch of points. But A.J. Brown's he's their high volume target guy there. So I like that one over Devontae Smith.
All right, Chet. Time for you to be all ears. It's your turn at the 102.
Let's see why I drafted number 2.
Round number 1 is Jamar Chase, wide receiver of the Bengals. I'm not even concerned about the Joe Burrow injury. This man's going to be ready to go. He's an absolute warrior to society. The doctors can say what they want, but that man's going to be like, I don't care. Put me on the field, and I'm going to throw it to my guy a lot of times. I think I think that T. Higgins behind him, he's solid, but he's not as good as Jamar Chase. I think that Chase – you could have any argument for him taking at pick number 1 overall, right along there with Justin Jefferson. I think it's going to be neck and neck between those two. Round number 2, I also picked Amon-Ra St. Brown in this one as well. So there's going to be some duplicate players. These were different mock drafts. Okay. This is a guy that I love, yada, yada, yada. It's pretty much the same. But round 3, this is the guy you need on your team, Nick Chubb. He is Mr. Consistent, and guess who's no longer there? Kareem Hunt. So no one's going to be taking – it's going to be the Nick Chubb show going forward. I think that Cleveland Browns offense – with a healthy Deshaun Watson, he's there in that full system. I think that the Browns offense is going to take some leaps in Deshaun Watson's second year there. So I am drafting all Nick Chubb, especially in round number 3. That's definitely the value I want at running back. And round number 4, also like this guy, the running back position, Aaron Jones. I think that the Packers offense has a lot of question marks surrounding it. But I think that this is going to be a team that likes to run the football. I think that Aaron Jones – he's also a consistent fantasy running back. I think that a lot of people have question marks about the running backs. Where can I get the upside? But why not just go with the 2 safest running backs in all of fantasy with Nick Chubb and Aaron Jones? And to finish it out, round number 5, Devontae Smith, wide receiver of the Eagles. And this is about the only question mark I have. You know, when you get to the wide receiver build, you go wide receiver, near the term, but you get a guy like Devontae Smith in round number 5. I was going to go Olave here, but he got sniped right in front of me, so I just settled for Devontae Smith. But I do think that, you know, A.J. Brown, he's the number 1, but it's not really too far behind that Devontae Smith is the number 2. So that is your team from the 102.
Yeah, I mean, if Chris Olave is sitting there in round 5, I'm definitely taking him over Smith. St. Brown, I had him last year, loved him. He's a big target for Jared Goff. One guy, I don't know if Garrett Wilson is going to slip to round 2, but that's somebody I've definitely got my eyes on.
He's right on there. I could either win with him or Amon-Ra.
Yeah, of course, everybody's got a Chubb for Nick Chubb. If he's sitting there in round 3, got to take him. And then Aaron Jones, I mean, he's burnt me in the past, but maybe I have
he burns me every year.
Yeah, so we'll see. Let's see what Wade's got at number 1.
Yes. Here goes Freddie pick, number 1 overall, Justin Jefferson, wide receiver of the Vikings. No shocker at all. It feels like every mock draft that I've done this offseason, Jefferson is gone. I've seen some people take CMC number 1. I could definitely see that scenario. I think that a lot of people still love to go running back in the first round. Probably not you guys after what happened to y'all last year. But I think that Justin Jefferson is one of the elite level wide receivers. I think that he could potentially break some records this season. So not only went with 1 wide receiver, but since you had back-to-back picks, I went with CeeDee Lamb, the wide receiver of the Cowboys. You know,
if he's there at 20, I will 100% do this, or whatever it is, 17.
I figured you would. So I went with CeeDee Lamb. I mean, they did add Brandon Cooks. That's definitely going to be a lot better for Dak.
Who cares?
Definitely a better target, but who cares? CeeDee Lamb is their guy. So I think that without Dalton Schultz there, all the targets are going to go to this man, and CeeDee Lamb is going to take off. And you're about to see 2 more duplicates at the running back position. You're going to see where my head is thinking at these drafts, Nick Chubb and Ramondre Stevenson. Like I mentioned, Nick Chubb, Mr. Consistent, Ramondre Stevenson, I think that without, a running back signing there, that's his backfield. No more Damian Harris there to take his goal line carries away from him. He's also a very talented pass catching back too. And to round out your round 5, let's go QB, baby. Joey B.
Dude,
wow.
Take the keys. You're going to draft my team. Here's the keys to my franchise.
There you go. So that is drafting from the 107, 103, 102, and beyond.
Well, yes, I like this team quite a bit. I do have Ramondre Stevenson in my dynasty team as well as Joe Burrow. And then I think that stacking wide receivers, picks 1 and 2 might be the way to go. If you can get one of those tight ends, in round 2 or 3, and you've already established a running back position, I think you can do it. But I think what it shows is you could get a guy like Ramondre Stevenson, maybe a Joe Mixon in round 4, and still end up with 2 of the best wide receivers and potentially one of the top 3 tight ends.
Mm-hmm. So in conclusion, the strategy, get your wide receivers early and then get the value at the running back. That's your conclusion.
Yeah, I mean, I might not pick a running back until round 10. We'll see. No, of course, Fantasy Football Corner. We're going to keep it up every week, so make sure you subscribe on our YouTube channel to tune into our Fantasy Football